Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be making a UK versus France scenario on Ibish Paint. So, I'll try to get other countries involved a little bit more instead of just UK and France, could be pretty boring. Yeah, so let's get right into it. So, we are basically in 2021 at the moment. So, this is going to be based off of how much power they have and who I think would win. And, yeah, so let's jump right into it. So, we have France declaring war on the UK. We have France declaring war on the UK. Now, the UK makes a landing in France. Oh, and this light blue will be the occupied version of the UK. And the lighter red here will be the occupied version or stuff of France, or the red side. So, the UK makes a landing in Calais, or wherever this is, and starts to push back the French armies. The French armies are very overwhelmed. And did not see this attack coming until later down the line. UK makes steady progress until the French army shows up and holds them back. The French army then begins to push back the British armies, which forces them to focus all their attention on that. Belgium thinks that this is a bad war, and France are paying them to supply them with military stuff, which Belgium declines and joins the blue side. Now, France is kind of scruffed unless they get an ally, but France starts to push into Belgium France starts to push into Belgium. Now, if I can just... France doesn't do a very good job of pushing into Belgium, and only makes it a little bit before they stopped in the line. Germany and Luxembourg look and declare neutrality, as the Netherlands follow up 2 days after. Ireland, however, joins in the UK, on the UK side. Now France is pretty scuffed because they don't have an ally. But France's closest allies, including Spain and Portugal, join the war against the UK. They all end up making a landing and land in Cornwall. They only take a little bit of Cornwall before they are stopped in their tracks by the heavy defensive military of the UK. So these are what the front lines look like at the moment. Not too big, really. France is kind of still getting clubbed by the UK. Now, the UK continues now to push into France, and Belgium starts to get its military pumping up and ready, and that furtherize another invasion, pushing them back down. Now, I need to colour this over with their blue since it's their homeland territory. Starts pushing France back down out of their country completely. France is pretty scuffed at this time, as even the UK makes a secret landing with Belgium in Spanish territory. You keep pushing them back, and the front line stabilises. Even the UK starts to push France more back, and eyes to set themselves on a spearhead going all the way to Paris. But for now, this is what more front lines look like. Belgium is starting to push them out. But France regains power and pushes Belgium back really far. Belgium calls in some allies to join them, and Italy, as they feel like they could get invaded by France, joins the blue side. Now, France, now it's basically a 3v3. France, Spain and Portugal versus Italy. Forgot to colour in Sicily. And UK and Ireland. So it's a 4v4 then. Forgot about Ireland. France immediately saw this coming and starts pushing Italy back. But they only make a tiny, tiny little turn before they are stopped in their tracks by the Italian armies that are getting ready to cross over to the border. As France push the spearhead back in their country and knocks the spearhead back, even knocking back some of the British defences and holding a steady line as they push more into Belgium. Belgium are not doing very well in this course, so the British and Italians send over 300,000 troops each to Belgium, and they end up starting to push back the French armies. That is not looking very good for France at the moment. They have lots of mainland territories being taken and they're getting pushed out of Belgium while controlling a tiny bit of Italy. But can they pull through? We'll have to find out. They keep pushing them out of Belgium until they reach the Belgian border and hold a steady line. As more of France is taken by the UK as they make their way down to Paris and start two spearheads. These spearheads are making their way down to Paris as when they can invade that territory, they can surround Paris and bombard them. Well, while this is still happening, the area up here in the UK and Cornwall, they push the armies out. Now, Spain isn't looking too good at this moment, but they managed to push the UK out of their country. So this is what the front line looks like. Everything seems to be happening in France at the moment, not so much in Italy. But that term is changed sooner later as France starts to push into Italy. They take lots of territory, eventually make a spearhead heading down for Rome. Now it's like the battle of the country capitals at the moment. There's two spearheads of the UK coming in, but the UK manages to increase their spearheads and they surround Paris completely. Now this chunk of France is stuck because of the spearheads widening and even get thicker and get ready to make more invasions later down the line after Paris is captured, if they have not surrendered. They then start to push through to get to Paris, and French lines hold steady, locking them back without getting into Paris. Now, Paris is here, and they're heading down here. They make a small spearhead, which is stopped in the way, and is really close to Paris. They now start bombarding it with artillery strikes, which causes the French troops to try and run round them, but are stopped in lines by the spearhead and get pushed back even more. Now, it's not looking good for France at all in this situation, but as Spanish and Portuguese armies start to pull through, they start to break the spearhead. They break the spearhead in two and start to push them back. The spearheads are very, very strong defences, and as them combined, they have 2 million troops pushing the spearheads back. They've pushed back the eastern spearhead all the way back to the original borders, as they're still after Paris. The more spearhead, they put all of their tough work and military into this and eventually take Paris. With Paris fallen, France doesn't lose hope and moves its capital to Bordeaux, which is down here, by the way. They start to push back, and the French and Portuguese armies have to retreat as they take more and more lands. Now this is what the front line looks like. The UK are doing very well in their path, and so is Belgium. This entire thing is fronted by Belgium. Now Belgium starts to push back down through France as more countries begin to mobilise to join, including Switzerland. Now, no one would do Switzerland, but Switzerland want to get some territory back from France, and Switzerland immediately are knocked out and are forced to join the red side immediately as France begins to bomb them. But France is holding steady in the Italian front line as their spearhead is getting stronger and stronger, and eventually makes it down to Rome. The siege of the city begins, and they block water supplies and any suppliers trying to get into Rome. They also take all the seas around them and surround them. As Sardinia and Corsica both join the blue side. Now Corsica declared independence from France, and France then starts to draw up plans to invade them. But for now, France are still focusing on Italy. The Italians fought really hard, pushing them back, trying to push them back, but still yet failed as the French armies are very strong down here. The English, or the British, up here still push back the French armies and start another spearhead heading down for Bordeaux. Now this is like the capture of the cities at the moment. Like if you knock out Rome, you basically lose and they're going for Bordeaux. But as I say that, the capital of Bordeaux is moved to Nevers. The UK sees this and already sends another 500,000 men to head for Nevers. As they're doing that, Marseille begins another spearhead up through the continent. Oh, what have I just done? Marseille begins another spearhead and starts their journey. Now, the French are losing very badly in their mainland territory and begin to draw up plans to surrender, but want to continue their fight in Italy. But they might have to surrender because Spain and Portugal both join the blue side, as I know that France has been taking their army away without them knowing and bombing their cities. They immediately thought that it was the British, but it finally figured out it was Spain or France, and they joined the blue side. Now it is Switzerland and France versus Italy, the UK and Belgium. After such long resistance, France then surrenders. After long months of this fighting, France finally surrenders, including Italy. France loses a lot of territory as they lose. I'm doing a video. Turn your mic off.
Okay.
Sorry for that interruption. But Belgium gets this amount of territory from France, as France now becomes a white country and now becomes neutral. And Italy starts to gain. Italy gets control of some stuff. Right, this is how much that Belgium obtains. The new borders look like this of Italy's. The UK also owns this part of France now and will occupy it for years and years and years to come. France is divided up, and even Switzerland gets a little bit of land. Land Switzerland get are very small, but are quite good. Just do that. And there you go. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was the UK versus France in a scenario. And this is what the new borders would look like. So you have Italy taking a lot of France's territory in the eastern parts of the country. Just going to do this just so it's Not blocked off. Right. Now can I change Italy to blue country? Yep. This is the Italian occupation. France, Portugal do not get anything and do not lose any territory, as they do not do anything that is cautiously harming, as they only send troops to break spearheads. But Belgium, Switzerland and the UK then become, and Italy then become their own alliance, and the USA prepares to go to war against Russia. So I hope you guys enjoy.